Hola, hola, hola. This is Brandy Fox coming live again with another Talk It Out session. I am super excited about it today. We're going to give about 2-3 minutes, let people get on, but I want to start by showing y'all a little bit more of what we're going to be doing today. So, if you don't know, Talk It Out is a virtual happy hour created by Be the Entrepreneur Consultant Agency. And our goal is to create a solution based virtual chat to support minority entrepreneurs. Honestly, I can say that as African American entrepreneurs, I feel like to a certain extent, we are behind the bar when it comes to entrepreneurship. So, my goal with Talk It Out is to be able to share information with y'all about different topics, sponsorships, nonprofit, how to get more money, how to balance your life, all the things that encompass what it means to be an entrepreneur. People get caught up in the basic stuff, numbers, sales, marketing, not realizing that there are so many things that come into being an entrepreneur. So I'm looking forward to talking about those things with you guys today. We are on every other Wednesday at 6 p.m. So today we're going to be joined by Miss Jania Massey of JSM Consulting. She's going to be talking to you guys about how to secure recurring donors. So if you are a nonprofit organization, today is all about you. It is about nonprofits. Of course, anybody can use this information, but it is specifically for my nonprofit people who are looking to get additional donors, secure donors, get ongoing donors, especially with the holiday season coming up. Y'all know this is prime time for nonprofits to get the funding that they need. So if you are watching us live, please share on your page. We want to get this information out. Please send it to anybody that you know that owns a nonprofit that wants to learn and wants to know how to get the money they need to grow. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get started. So our agenda for today, of course, is the welcome. I would like to welcome everybody to Talk It Out. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. We're going to be on for about 30 to 45 minutes, dropping all the nonprofit gems that you need. So first and foremost, welcome. Then we're going to go into our housekeeping, drink check, cocktail of the day, topic of the day, question and answer, and then we're going to roll it out with our closeout. And today, y'all have actually caught me on a really, really good day because I have the tea on some new PPP loan forgiveness information that I want to share with you guys. So if you are an entrepreneur that took out the PPP small business loan, I do have some information on how you can get your loan 100% forgiven with half the paperwork, and I'm excited to share that with you. So let's roll on to housekeeping. I want you guys to know that we will be streaming live the whole time. Please feel free to type your comments in while we're streaming. We will be answering questions throughout the live stream. We want to make sure you guys understand this information because we want you to get this money. If you want to upload, if you want a copy of this video, please like us, subscribe, Be the Entrepreneur. You can also find us at www.betheentrepreneur.com. You go ahead and sign up right there on the home page. You will be added to our email list, and we can email you out this information to be able to secure your donors. So let's roll into our cocktail of the day. So I'm super excited, as y'all know, with every Be the Entrepreneur event, we always do our cocktail of the day. So the cocktail of the day is a crantini. You have 3 ounces of cranberry juice, 2 ounces of vodka, 1/4 cup of fresh cranberries, and your garnish, which can be your lime wedge. What you're gonna do is you're gonna mix that up. You're gonna shake that thing like that, and couple of ice cubes, keep it on the rocks, keep it cool. Get you a fly martini glass. It gotta be fly. Pour it in there. If you want to get real extra fancy, put your little lime zest, all that good stuff. Stick your cup of cranberries on there. Boom. Got your little crantini. 4 ingredients, less than 2 minutes. That is our cocktail of the day. So next we are going into our drink check. I am super excited. So at this time, I want to welcome my guest for the day, Miss Jania Massey, the owner and founder of JSM Consulting Agency, specializing in supporting nonprofits start, grow, and be able to get the funding they need to support their community. How you doing today, Jania?
Hey, how are you? I'm always dancing when I come on stuff like this. What up?
And bankhead bounce with the people in the back. And I love a good bankhead bounce. I don't know why that's like my go-to dance move. I'm gonna try the cabbage patch next time.
Oh,
Okay. Right, but the bankhead bounce is so easy. Like you could just like and then you can bring it back a little slow. I don't know. That's me. But we're going into our drink check. So Miss Jania, what are you drinking on today for our Talk It Out virtual happy hour?
so those that know me know that I don't drink, but I got something for you today. Okay. So I took it back to church. I got me some cran juice, which I had to put in the cocktail, and then I took it to some muscadine, sweet muscadine Dublin wine, and I just, gave 10% into the drink, and boom.
You said 10% like you was tired. I didn't know what you was about to say. I thought you was about to say I gave 10% to the church. I'm like, I don't think that's how that worked, Jania.
10%. So it's wine is what grapes. So I got the grape and grape with a little hint of whatever percent of this 10% of alcohol. So I had to be
10% ain't that bad. Hey, 10%, 3 bottles, you lit.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's why I put just a dollop in there, so I don't have to pull on this live.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing your non-alcoholic baby alcoholic drinks. No shade. And come on. Well, I go straight for the druggler. I got a strong cran apple on the rocks, nothing in it. Just down in the apple, and I'm just gonna sip on that throughout the show to make sure we stay in good focus. We got some good information, and I want to make sure that we deliver it coherently. So, thank you so much for sharing your drink of the day. And guys, if you have cocktails, if you're drinking on something, make sure you type in the comment section what you're drinking on. I be trying to expand my palates. I get tired of just like I told y'all, drinking just the liquor and the juice and mixing it. Like I want to get fancy. So if you have any type of recipes that you try, some favorites, please drop it in the comment section. I'm going to steal them and I will share them and I will make them. So I lost my train of thought. So talking a little bit more about Jania Massey. This is my homegirl. We've been down since 2015. When I joined Women Entree 2.0, she was one of the founders of the program. My introduction to being in a incubator program for entrepreneurs. She hosted an amazing pitch competition. I won the pitch competition, and Pamper Us has been literally like rolling, bowling ever since. And I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the opportunity and everything that she does here. I know that she does for her nonprofit. So that's why I'm super excited for you to share this information with us. So Jania, tell us a little bit more about JSM Consulting, what you do and how you support nonprofits.
Well, JSM Consulting is really a rebrand. So my very, very first nonprofit was Philanthropy Circle 365, or I would always call it PC Group 365. And basically it was birthed from wanting to show people how cool it is to give, and I realized that I volunteered all the time, but when I would go volunteer, I didn't see people that looked like me serving in the same capacity. So we're actually serving people that look like me, but like people standing beside me as volunteers, they didn't look like me. So I was like, well, let me start inviting people to come serve with me. And it kind of birthed into a nonprofit that offered event planning, that offered volunteer resources, that gathered people together, and I would basically plan it. And then we ended up evolving into like a signature kickball tournament for the YMCA.
Come on, I was out there, me and the Dat Way squad. I don't know if any of my Dat Way people are in here, but we was out there.
Yeah, so that was one of our signature events. So as I continue to grow as a philanthropist, as a businesswoman, as a professional, I decided to renamed. So we still have PC Group, and that's part of the sector under JSM Consulting, because we do still believing in service and giving back. But I also wanted to make sure I offered the business concepts of nonprofit. So what I have been doing really since 2013 is doing nonprofit events. So events, one event that I'm a part of, that I've been a part of for a very long time, is Marsha Barnes, the finance bar. She does a My Finances Are Beautiful event. And I do
her.
Construction and coordinating behind the scenes while she does the magic and teaches all the women about financial literacy and having that safe space. I've also still playing a kickball tournament, and I've been doing a lot of just strategic planning, program management, logistics for a few other clients. And I also do nonprofit coaching. So I have a lot of people that come to me that want to start a nonprofit from a grassroots perspective. So I coach them to starting their organization and making sure they don't do the same things that I did when I started to build SBU. So I'm tying all of that from experience. And then I most recently got my Duke University Nonprofit Management Certificate. So I'm putting all of that into one thing, and voila, you have the baby, JSM Consulting.
Come on, put all that education to use, honey. Put it all to use. Come on. I love it. I told y'all, Jania is the plug. Like, she been doing this like before it was even popping. Before entrepreneurship was popping, she was an entrepreneur, a Black woman entrepreneur. You don't find too many of them. So I'm excited that she's a part of my network. I'm excited that outside of that we are friends. So, I'm super excited to have you on here today. So with that being said, I want to roll. Oh, well, first, make sure y'all like and follow her on Facebook and Instagram, JSM Consulting Now. You can find that. You can follow her, get information, especially if you're a nonprofit. She is definitely the person that you want to connect with. So moving forward, we want to go into our topics of the day, which is number one, how to secure reoccurring donors. So Jania, let's roll with that, because I know as a nonprofit, I'm not a nonprofit. I don't know anything about that. Even with being an entrepreneur, when it comes to nonprofit work, I always send people to you. Like if they ask me about it, I'm like, let me send you to my homegirl Jania. So tell us, let's start off with what is the biggest difference between for-profit and nonprofit?
Just the tax exempt status. There is no difference. So a lot of people think that because you're nonprofit, you're doing everything for free, or you get everything for free. And that is a huge myth. You don't. You get discounts. You can write off some things as an in-kind donation, but it's still a business. And the difference is just that with the IRS, you have an exemption status, so you don't have to pay taxes on the money that is donated to you. So that is the biggest difference. But, I say it all the time. I'm sure everybody else says it that's in this industry. Nonprofits are a business. It's a business, a full-blown business. Sweet Jesus. It's a business.
And people don't think it is. That's the thing. When people hear nonprofits, real talk, they be like, no, I want to make money. Like, I don't want to, or you know what? Let me do it on the flip side. I hear people saying, I'm not really focused on the money. I'm focused on the cause. So, I think I'm just going to do a nonprofit. That's not what it means. That's not what a nonprofit means. That does not mean that you don't do it for money. Right. Because a lot of whole full-blown nonprofits out here that make a lot of money. What's the lady name that was making what's some of the salaries? Do you know some of the salaries of some of these CEOs? What's that lady name that was making all that money and everybody was going ham? Do you know?
Which organization was she with?
Shoot. Don't get me lying.
I remember
it was a big old organization. United Way? Was it United Way?
Oh yeah. So about 10 years ago, the executive director, she raised a lot of money for United Way, and then the board approved her for a salary of the higher end of six figures. So there happened to be an outburst about that, and it was very interesting. I remember reading about it and seeing the demise of it, but a lot of people fail to realize, again, it is a business, and I'm sure there were some other logistics going on behind the scenes, but a board does approve your salary. So that's the other myth about nonprofits. Like, I'm the founder of a nonprofit, but my board runs the organization. right? So even though I'm the visionary and I make decisions, the boards are ultimately the one that decides what salaries are. They decide a lot of organizational structure things in order to keep your organization going and sustainable. So from my understanding, the board with her at the time, I believe her name was Gloria, they approved her salary, but the salary was, I guess some people had a problem with what she was getting. They felt like it was not in alignment with what a nonprofit should get, but that is something I would like to beg to differ when it comes to that, because doing this work, organizations, you don't want to serve and then also be almost homeless trying to serve people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing this work, so you don't want to become homeless because you're like, oh, I'm a nonprofit, only give me $30,000 to live. And it's like, no, that's not fair. So we do have to change. And I know I'm going off into a whole nother, my opinion, but we do have to change how we look at people's salary. It is public information, but we do have to change how we view that and what that means to us. Because if you have someone that's raising or bringing in $10 million, are you trying to say if they have a salary of 1 million that they don't justify that? So, you have to really extend grace and kind of just think about it holistically when it comes to salaries. So, yeah,
I agree.
Talking about. Mm-hmm.
And you got to work in your budget too. Like even with for-profit, I know for me, and guys, we'll hop right back into it. This is a free spirit conversation and we just want to be real in everything we talk about. But I would honestly say, like, with me being an entrepreneur, it was really a transition trying to figure out like how much to pay myself, like how to pay myself, how much, how frequent should I pay myself? You know what I'm saying? Those are all important things that you got to take in consideration, even more as a nonprofit, because like we're going to talk about today, a lot of your funding comes from donors, grants, and fundraising. So
and to be transparent, Brandy, I didn't take any salary from the SBU for 3 years.
Oh, and what's SBU? You gotta let them know what it is.
University. So that's the other nonprofit that I run as well, that teaches entrepreneurship to young girls, and we've been around since 2016. And I actually left my job to do this full time. But that's where JSM Consulting come in. I don't talk about JSM Consulting as much, but that was what was sustaining me to continue to do the work, right? So there was a point where I wasn't paying myself because I wanted to raise a certain amount of money before I started to pay myself. And do I suggest that for everybody? Absolutely not. That was a sacrifice I was willing to take. But to go into your conversation, yeah, when you start, you are willing to sacrifice how much you make in the beginning, until you start seeing the revenue and expenses and all that stuff. So you do sacrifice that a lot until you build up your marketing and your demographic and all that stuff.
Right. So, and I actually saw a post, it's so crazy. So I think it was just the other day, and somebody had posted how like a true leader doesn't lead from the front, they kind of lead from the back. And I kind of like that because, same thing. Like it was times where back in the day where I would pay my massage therapist or everybody that I use and I made no profit. And sometimes going in the red. And that's some of the sacrifices that you come into with entrepreneurship.
Yeah, girl, you got paid before me.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I ain't gonna complain too much. I'm gonna complain a little bit. I'm playing a little bit. But going into our discussions for today. So, Jania, what are some tips? Okay, let's talk about the difference between donors and grants. Let's talk about the difference between the two.
So grants come from foundations or organizations. So like United Way, since we talked about them earlier, they're a funder of SBU, but they're considered a foundation. So you're able to apply to a grant in order to get funding for your organization. Corporations could be more so like businesses. So if you apply for like a Walmart, Walmart has a philanthropic foundation, Wells Fargo, any of the banks. Those are more corporations, so you can apply for funding from them, and it could be a set amount, or you can ask for whatever you need, and you need to submit like a budget and your exemption status and answer a whole bunch of questions as far as what you want to do with it. When it comes to donors, that are the everyday people like me and you that choose to give what we make to an organization. So it's no different. I like to compare things a lot with church because people forget that churches are 501c3 organizations. So when you give your tithes, you're giving it to a church who is a 501c3 organization, and that tithe money does help the church to sustain. It pays the pastor, it pays the church fund, the buildings, the parking, it pays a lot of the things that keep things going.
Don't forget the after church meal too.
The after church meal, the macaroni and cheese, and
come on,
chicken, and the
fried chicken. Before I changed my life, girl, I miss fried chicken sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna stop cutting you off. Keep going.
Yeah. So usually with grants, sometimes with grants, some differences are when you apply for a grant, it may be restricted. So you may have to only use it for programmatic things, meaning the program that you're running. And sometimes they may let you use some of that money for operating expenses like salaries, things to keep the business running, maybe marketing, website, phones, venue spaces, or office spaces. But when you have a donor, that is open. Like if anybody donates to me, I can use it where we need it and where I see fit, unless the donor says I want to specifically support, like they may say I specifically want to support the West Charlotte chapter, then I'll restrict that money for the West Charlotte chapter. But donors are just everyday people. When you think about, you remember the guy that paid off the student loans at Morehead?
Oh yeah, Morehouse. Yeah, I remember.
Morehouse. When I say Morehead, I'm thinking about downtown. My bad. Morehouse. Like he would be considered a donor. Like if he was given from his nonprofit, he would have been a donor to pay off these student loans for kids. So he would be considered a donor. And a lot of people that have acquired a certain type of wealth and don't want to give the IRS money, they choose to donate to nonprofits to help further a mission.
That is perfect. Thank you for sharing the difference. And guys, I will be posting up information as we go at the bottom. You should be able to see that, just to kind of keep you guys in the loop with some of the nonprofit terms that Jania uses throughout this Talk It Out session today. Don't forget, if you just hopped on, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are super excited to have you on here today, and we want you to subscribe. We want you to kind of get more information, and we're going to get a little bit more in depth with everything today, but I just want to drop that little blurb on y'all. Please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to the Entrepreneur. So moving forward, so Jania, what will you say is the top ways to get a grant?
So to get a grant, you need to build relationships. And you need to build relationships regardless, whether it's a grant or a donor. But I would say that you have to make sure your organization is being seen by those that are on the grant selection committee, right? Because they're getting in hundreds and thousands of applications vying for the same funding. And then if you're not the best writer, you need to be able to tell the story. You need to be able to fill out these applications. To apply for a grant, it does take a lot of energy and time, even though if you get it, the return is high, right? So it's kind of like a high risk, high reward type of thing. But there are times where I've applied for grants and didn't receive them. And I'm like, dang, I could have just used that time for something else. But that's just the nature of the game. So I do suggest that a lot of people really research who they're applying for grants to, research the grant department, start building those relationships, use LinkedIn, don't have a problem with actually meeting with them prior to, so you can tell them yourself what your program is about and ask them any additional questions for tips and things of that nature, into how to apply your grant or things that they're on the lookout for. I would also suggest don't apply for a grant that does not align with your vision, because you hustling backwards, right? You hustling real backwards. So Walmart and Target, they have specific areas that they want grant funding for, or target areas. So let's say right now, because of the nature of the world with everything with George Floyd, we have a lot of racial equity grants that are out. But if you're not supporting racial equity, then you shouldn't apply for those grants, because one, you're already wasting your time, and two, you're not in alignment with what they're offering. So those would be the two things that I would suggest. Start building relationships, use your LinkedIn, use your resources, use your board. Oh, let me say it again. Use your board. People on your board, if you're strategic enough, you want to select people on your board that have relationships or that are in certain positions that can give you an insight. So I would highly recommend that people select and be intentional about who's on their board and who their connections with, and actually create a map. Like I have flip charts everywhere, but I create.
Amen.
Yeah, we are the flip chart. We need to get endorsement with flip charts. Posted.
Right.
But but like right down, like we're so connected in this most organic way. We don't even realize it because we don't have conversations enough. And I can say even just Brandy with me and you relationship, when we talk about how SBU first expanded to West Charlotte, that was based upon your relationship and your connection with someone in that West Charlotte thing, in that West Charlotte community. And even though we're both alumni, Dub C,
Come on, we in here all day, all night. Okay.
It was really based upon your relationship, right? And your relationship allowed us to expand in a way. So that's the same way you got to think about when it comes to grants and connecting with those that are in that industry to help them to see your brand and what you're trying to do.
I totally agree. And that's important. When you say your board of directors, that's like your tribe, real talk. If you think about it, that's like your real professional tribe. So it's important that that you get some insight on what you need. And if you guys can check out the comment section at the bottom, you will see I put about 3 tips on what you should look for when you're creating your board of directors. You want to have people that have expertise in the area that you are serving. So if you, like, for example, we're going to use SBU, Stiletto Bosch University, because that is Jania's organization and I work for them as well. But when we choose the board of directors, when she chose it, she wanted to choose people, of course, that are entrepreneurs. I think that is key, or are tied to some form of entrepreneurship, and people who, like she said, are connected. You want to be able to expand your net. If you're talking to your same network all the time, how are you going to expand out? How are you going to get more people? And honestly, real talk, I think that's a whole big issue for Charlotte. I know I was talking to my homegirls like last week, and I was saying how I just can't understand how Charlotte struggles so much in the entrepreneur area, especially for African-American businesses. We have so many of us. It's so many of us here. It's so many entrepreneurs that I know that are Black. I know good ones. I know bad ones. I know ones that's hustling up. I know ones that already made it. But it's like, what is the difference between us and like in Atlanta? Why is it that Atlanta can have Black entrepreneurs that thrive, but for some reason here, we kind of struggle a little bit? So I think Charlotte has to really, we're still in North Carolina, let's be real. So I feel like to a certain extent, Charlotte really has to expand its net, especially Charlotteans. If you've been living in Charlotte, growing in Charlotte, you got to know that there is a world outside of Charlotte, y'all. It's businesses out Charlotte. There are connections outside of Charlotte. I remember when me and Jania was talking, and she was telling me how she was talking to people in Africa, y'all. Africa. Like, she having whole conversations with people in Africa. You know the people at the embassy, that's her cousin. That's her cousin. Now I'm playing, it ain't her cousin, but she know people at the embassy. So that means, if I'm trying to get to Africa, you know what I'm saying, and something mess up, I can hit up Jania and be like, hey, can you hit up your girl at the embassy? What's up? You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say, especially once again to my Charlotteans, y'all, get outside of Charlotte. If you networking, I get so many entrepreneurs that come with me with be the entrepreneur. And the main thing they say is, I want to market. I want to get my business out. Then I ask them, who are they advertising to? And y'all, they advertising to the same people. Y'all advertising to the same Facebook groups that see you every day. You advertising to your same friends that already know your business. Oh, you have to get outside of your network. And now the thing is, now is the most perfect time because we are in COVID. People are online so much and it's so digital. Y'all, it's nothing to professionally hop into somebody's inbox. Now, if you come in there talking crazy, you might get blocked. It does happen. But if you see somebody, especially in these entrepreneur groups, I see a lot of amazing people. If you see somebody that posts something that looks interesting, especially people that have podcasts, shows, all that kind of stuff, y'all, this is who you want to connect with, because once you get on their show, once you talk to them, not only are you introducing them to your network, you're getting connected to all their network of people. And once you get connected to them, it's a whole nother network of people. Y'all, networking is easy. And we're going to have a whole Talk It Out session on networking in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned, because I want y'all to catch this, because we don't know how to talk. We don't know how to communicate, Jania.
Let me tag me in. Tag me in.
Tag it in, sis. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging.
Tag. Okay. So what I want to add to what you were saying is that, again, we forget how connected we are. Like, we went to college and we just thought it was just turn up. But no, you have people in college that you are friends. Like, how many of you know who you went to college with and what they do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what they really do. Not just, hey, girl, oh, you look cute. Or, hey, girl, I like your shoes. Like, really asking them, like, oh, what do you do for a living? Because sometimes we don't know. We don't know. We could have friends that's the vice president or something that have no clue because we simply don't ask. So I definitely think we have to explore and make sure that we tap into what we're already connected to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's truly a tap in. It's a tap in, and it's really having engaging conversations to ask people, like, what is it that you know? What is it? How can you help me? Because I am a helper, but if you don't ask me, then I don't know what you need, and I'm not going to assume that I know how to help you because I don't.
Right. And I think that comes with consulting in general. Whether you consult in nonprofit or for profit, it's all about knowing the need and then executing what the need is. So I totally agree with you there. And we done rolled off again, boy. We get the rolling on here. But okay, so talk about grants. If you missed it, guys, please do not forget to Facebook like, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to catch this video, all you have to do is hit us up at www.betheentrepreneur.com. I have it right at the bottom, and we can email you out this video, talk it out, letting you know everything you need to get funding for your nonprofit. But moving forward, so now we got our grants. We know how to apply for grants. We got our top tips for grants. So now let's get to one that's a little bit harder. Let's get to these donors. How do you get donors for your nonprofit?
Child, prayer. Nah, it's prayer. It's honestly, I feel like if I said it in one word, it's just consistency. You know, and it's not being afraid to ask, but also making sure that my actions match with my ask, right? So I can't sit here and be like, hey, can you give me $1,000? But I have nothing to show what I've done with $1,000, right? I can't expect you to invest in an organization and into community, but then we don't deliver the results that we have. So I really think that there's a level of consistency, because it's times where you can ask a whole bunch of people and they may not give it to you when you ask, but because you've been consistent, because you keep showing up, because you keep delivering and executing with what you have, they end up giving you the money at a later date. So I think when it comes to donors, you are constantly building that trust with them, you know, and it's, for me, it has been very important to remain transparent. I don't hide anything about what we do with the money. I share it, and I share it because it's your right to know. Whether you invest in SBU or not, it's your right to know what I've done with your hard-earned money and how it's helping the next generation to become next great leaders. And I think that is super important when it comes to getting donors. It's building that trust in their relationship. And once they see, they start to feel good. You know, they start to see like, oh, I gave $25 and you done started a whole nother chapter. Whoa.
Right. Shoot. You know what I'm saying? To 25, when I say time, you know, I love it.
Let me get some people together and see if we can get you 2,500. You know what I'm saying? So it really is consistency. It is transparency. It's doing what you say you're gonna do, and it's continuing to ask. I know I'm naturally not a person to ask people for money. So for me to kind of be in this industry is very interesting to me that God shift me in this way. But I don't ask people for money. I ain't never asked nobody for money that I can think of it. Like, if I don't have it, I just don't get it. That's how I think about things. But when it comes to serving, that has been different for me because it's a strong purpose behind it. So everybody that has ever invested in SBU, if you've ever given us any money, if you ever purchased anything from our apparel line, not only are you appreciated, but I hope you see what we've done. We've expanded to 8 chapters.
Come on, 8. Numero ocho. I'm working on my Spanish, y'all, and it ain't Duolingo. No, I'm playing.
So we've expanded, and that's because of people generosity, you know, and grants, we do get grants, but because of people generosity, and, you know, to be honest, we want to ramp up. We want to have more donors. I don't want us to be dependent upon grants, because grants is really like seed money. It's almost like investment. So if you have an investor, they give you money and then they expect for you to do a return. They expect for ROI, and we do have an ROI. We have a return of investment. But at the same time, I don't want that to be the only source of income we do. So we have to diversify. We have to get grants. We have to get corporate sponsors. We have to get our individual donors up, and we have to get people to buy more of our apparel line. That's just a part of the game. That's any organization. So, I mean, those would be my four, or whatever I said. What I said: consistency, transparency, and don't be afraid to ask. You're going to have to ask all the time. You're going to have to go to coffee. You're going to have to go to lunch. You're going to have to do Zooms. You're going to have to do it all. Because some people, again, that's their hard-earned money. So what makes them want to give?
Exactly. So going into that, I want to hop into something we didn't talk about before, but I definitely want you to share this information. Being real in your ask. So we've talked before how people kind of lowball what they need because they are afraid that they won't get it. So what is your strategy when asking for money? Do you like, if you need 10K, do you go off the rip and give 10, ask 10K? Do you spread it out across different organizations? How do you determine your ask?
Yeah, so that you have to determine your strategy. So your strategy could be a mixture of campaigns. So let's say if you did a social media campaign, like we have Giving Tuesday that's coming up December 1st, right? Which is after Friday. So let's say you want to use 10K as an example. So let's say for Giving Tuesday, our target is to hit 2,500. So that's getting people to give 2,500. So if you're going to break down that 2,500, that's looking at people that donate to you now and seeing how they tier out. So do they give $500? Do they give $100? Do they give $25? What's the average? And you can ask them to give again, but if you divide 2,500 into $25, that's how many people you need to give you $25. So let me do the math real quick, because, you know, I like
add it up, friend. Add it up.
Accurate. So if you trying to raise 2,500 and you have an average of people giving you $25, you just need 100 people to give you $25. 100. So let's break that down again. If you want people to give you $50, so you now need 50 people to give you $50. So when you start breaking down the reality of the numbers, it doesn't seem so hard. Even if I go a step further, if I say I want to give 100 people, I need 25 people to give me $100 in order for me to reach a $2,500 goal. So that does sound feasible, right? Like you already making a list. Who do I know that gives, you know, who my people? Who give over $100? You know, and then when you look at people that have given you over $100, ask them, can they give you another 100? Don't buy that flat screen. Give us $100. You know, like really start showing them what their investment would be. Also showing them what the investment of $100 is. So for us to fund a chapter, it costs $5,000 for the whole year. So $5,000 divided by 12 is, for my because I'm not a math head, so we just gone. That's $416 a month. So if I had somebody to say, you know what, I can give you a recurring donation of $450 a month, that will cover a chapter. So we can add more chapters. So you really have to just break down the goal, you know, and then some people that are with larger organizations that are in my network, some of them will actually, they only target certain type of givers. They're only looking for givers that's going to give $5,000, $10,000 up front. They're not going to really strategize on people that give smaller donations because they're trying to make millions of dollars for their annual budget. So you really have to get strategic with what you need and understanding what you need and why you need it, and then breaking down that price even further. So I know you've seen me do flip charts and break them down and break it.
Your girl then broke that thing down. Like she broke it down to like the, what is it? minimum value or whatever, girl.
Oh,
I was just doing
MVP.
it. Yeah, there you go. There you go, girl. I was just doing it on my in-home tutoring over here, girl. Look, it's coming back to me. It's coming back.
And I
Well,
think
not tutoring, in-home schooling.
What I do for donors is the same thing that you would do for a for-profit business. You know, if you want to make X amount of money a year, you know, Brandy, I know we went through something. I was like, okay, you want to make whatever the amount. How many massages do you have to get per week? How many massages do you have to get per month in order to hit that monthly goal? So it's no different. You just have to be strategic about who you ask and how much you're asking them for, and, you know, get them in on reoccurring donations. Because some people, you know, I encourage people all the time, if you have a favorite nonprofit, then give them a reoccurring donation. It ain't nothing wrong with you giving them a reoccurring donation of $10 a month. I know I'm very blessed to have people that work for Duke Energy, and they put me in as their employee match giving program. So every month I get a match from what they give out of their check. And that is an easy way, especially for my people that are working in corporate and they have that opportunity. Go to your HR department and say, hey, I want to give to a specific organization. Get that organization tax ID, determination letter, get them set up so you can constantly have that pulled out your check just like you would have taxes, and it will go to that organization. So it's really just being very strategic about who you ask, what you're asking for, and who you need to target in order to reach your goal.
And that is definitely important. Girl, yeah, we told that flip chart up that day. I remember that day. I was stressed out. I'm like, bro, it's just so many numbers. But that is necessary when you're trying to reach a goal. Because I think sometimes you can get caught up and you can get like caught up in a big number. Like, let's say if in January you like by the end of the year, I want to have $100,000. That's a big number. If last year you only pulled in 30, that's a whole nother 70. You gotta pull out the air with God's grace. You know what I'm saying? So I love how you said break it down. That is such an important key. Break it down. So 100K, break that down by 12 months, break that down by the month, break that down by the week, and break that down by the day. And once you do that, that lets you know how hard you need to hustle. So if you need to pull in 150 a day and you only at 75 today, you need to figure out what you need to do to get that other 75. And if you stay consistent with that, y'all, that is what it takes to get you to the next level.
And they always say, you know, they always say the first 6 figures is the hardest, but once you get to that first 6 figures, you
in there.
You already looking back on like, oh snap, like, okay, I got the goal. Like you did all that hustling, I got the goal. And then you start to think, okay, well, what did I do too much of? What do I need to focus on? You know what I'm saying? It's no different than services. So, you know, if I use Pamper Us as an example, you do mobile massages with a whole bunch of other services, right? But you probably realize that, oh, I'm bringing in a lot of money doing 60-minute massages, the sweetest massages, versus me doing deep tissue. So let me keep pushing this deep tissue. Deep tissue versus hot stones or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So start to look at what services are really playing, and then you say, you know what? Let me do a special. Let me push this more because more people are into this versus me doing the hot stones. Do I still need to offer hot stones, or do I need to take hot stones away? How many deep tissues do I need to, you know, sell? And then once you do that, you start becoming the expert or the go-to person for deep tissue. So everybody like, nah, if I'm gonna get a deep tissue, I'm going to Pamper Us. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, drop the plug on them.
So, you know, it's really just after you hit that, and even before you hit the 6 figures, you know, you really have to really understand the services that you offer and what's doing well. And I think naturally all entrepreneurs do this when they first start. They offer so many services. You know what I'm saying? Because you're so excited, your adrenaline is
trying to get them everything.
Trying to get everything. You like boom, boom, boom. And you might break it down like, oh, I want to do this home spa, I want to do this, that, and the other. You know, I want to do all this stuff, and I'm gonna get all this money from all these places. But if people only going to one service, then give the people what they want.
And you know what? That's crazy that you said that because I had to learn that the hard way. Because when I started Pamperess, girl, I did everything, girl. I was your one-stop shop. And I can say with me, with us expanding into the Greensboro Triad area in January, like over the summer, I really had to sit down and like really hone out. Okay, B, go through every service. What's working? What's not working? What's selling? What is not selling? Because the key is, y'all, if you focus on the things that are not selling, you're taking away from the things that are selling. And even though it is your business and you want everything to kind of flourish, at the end of the day, it's all about that revenue.
Yeah.
For me, and if you want to take it outside of massage therapy, let's go into something like Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A, they're known as, they didn't invent the chicken. What they invent? The chicken sandwich. Come on, like I know that. I done seen it a lot. I know what's up.
About the chicken sandwich, I was like customer service, but yeah.
Girl, they ain't invent the chicken. They invented the chicken sandwich. So off the rip, just in their slogan, if you want to get chicken sandwich, you go to Chick-fil-A. And when you see Chick-fil-A commercials, what are they pushing? Chicken minis, the little breakfast minis, the little chicken nuggets, the chicken sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing. They're frosted lemonade, things that are already selling. Now, for me, I like, I don't know if y'all know, but they got a good chicken salad wrap. I used to get before I stopped eating meat. I ain't never seen that chicken salad wrap in no commercials. I ain't seen it in the ad. I ain't seen it nowhere.
They used to have a good chicken salad sandwich too, but then they took.
Yes, girl, I remember.
Mm-hmm. And they had a wrap down diagonal down the middle, and the bread.
Yeah. Girl, make it look real fancy, like your mama made you lunch or something.
It was.
Come on.
I was a little salty because that was my little quick little meal.
Right.
To the number one.
Yep, girl. That number one, I be missing it, girl. With that Polynesian sauce, give me a little extra pickles. Girl, hey, girl, I be missing chicken. Okay, let's go on for our relapse. All right. So, with that being said, Jania, thank you for sharing us the information as far as grants and donors. So let's roll into what are your top tips for a nonprofit to prepare for a grant or a proposal to get money from anybody? What should they do to prepare?
One, they need to know their numbers.
Come on with the numbers.
Know your numbers, know what you're asking for, know how much you need to ask for, and make sure it includes everything. So, with an SBU chapter, you're getting a chapter ambassador, which is someone that I pay. That's a contractor. You're getting marketing materials. You're getting curriculum. You get a food stipend. You get it's stuff that is in that package. So I have to break that down. And I also have to break that down into the amount of kids that we serve per chapter, right? So if I don't know those numbers, then how can I ask for I can't just pull $5,000 out my butt. I have to ask for what I need, and you need to be clear in the ask. You can't just say, I need $100,000 to run my organization. Well, what does that mean? How much of that do you have office space? Are you using a co-working space? What are your administrative fees? Do you now, because we're virtual, tech is real. Tech fees are real.
Tech is real.
Okay, I know because I just launched a new website. Tech fees is real. Yes, you can log on to Zoom for free, but that's only for 40 minutes. Okay,
40 minutes, and they will cut you off. You and your crew is cut off at 30.59.59. It's over for you.
Exactly. So, what are the things that you need to pay for? We literally in our tech expenses right now, we have Zoom, we have Google Meet, we have line items for just updates for our website, because I'm not a tech person. I'm not even trying to be. So we have updates, somebody that can go in and make sure our website is working properly. We have to pay. We have a new course that's about to come out. We have to pay for administrative fees to manage that course. And yes, we can apply for things because we are a nonprofit, so we can get at a discount rate. but we still have to pay for it. You know, I still have to pay for QuickBooks to manage our accounting. I still have to pay an accountant to make sure that we are in alignment with what we're saying we're doing so we can report back to the IRS. So you really need to know your numbers from a programmatic standpoint and know your numbers from a general operating expenses standpoint. So know your numbers to know what you're asking for, because you probably are under asking, and then you're still hustling backwards, right? You asking for 25,000 when you really need 75,000.
Right.
And that's just and you can justify the 75,000. So that's number one, know your numbers. Number two, I would say, if you have a program, build out a strong program. I know a lot of times, if you know me, I'm a very analytical thinker. Like, I'm thinking through everything. And to have a program that can run smoothly, it takes a lot of stress off of you. And it helps you with just execution. So with our programming, we have a standard, it's a 90-minute session. We have the chapter ambassadors, they have their curriculum. They know what they need to do to deliver and execute. Also, I would say, make sure you have the right people in place. And even if that's from a volunteer standpoint, or if you have contractors, or if you have to hire somebody. I know for me, in the beginning, for maybe the first 2 to 3 years, Jania was doing I was teaching classes, I was running the organization, I was picking up orders, I was delivering stuff, I was doing everything. And now I'm looking at, how in the heck was I doing everything when I look how everybody else doing stuff now. So I don't even know how I was doing that. But make sure you strategize and you have people to own and take ownership of certain things that you need done, you know. So if you have an event or a fundraiser, delegate that to somebody that's in your circle.
Delegation.
Because if you don't, you're going to drive yourself crazy. I'm telling you from experience, you know. And when you have adrenaline, I mean, it was times where I probably wasn't even sleeping. Brandy probably got more stories than me where Brandy tells me to take a nap.
Girl, because nap speaks everything. When the world get crazy, when my world get crazy, I take a nap. And when I wake up, like, I just lay down and I just rest my body. And when I wake up, I'm like, all right, you got to take a nap, y'all. Entrepreneurs, add you a nap time. Strong 30 minutes. YouTube, how to train your body to take a 30-minute nap, y'all. Those 30-minute power naps will change your life. I watched a YouTube video. I wish I had the link. It was a while ago. But they literally showed you how to train your body to take 30-minute naps. And y'all, I did it so much that my body would automatically wake up around that 25, 30-minute mark, which is proven to be the perfect time to get an energy boost, but not get lethargic. Anything past 35 minutes, between that 35-minute and an hour mark, most of the time when you wake up, you're going to be a little groggy. Anything under 30 minutes is too short. But studies show if you can take you a strong 30-minute nap, you back in the game. So that's my plug.
Y'all, Brandy would tell me to take a nap I don't know if she heard the anxiety in my throat or what. Take a nap. But,
take a nap, sis.
And I would say the last thing I would say read. Focus on being a leader. Like, being in this industry, I don't think I realized how much of myself I was giving every day. And then I would come home empty to the point of where I don't want to talk, empty to the point of where I just want to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So really make sure that you're building up your core mentally and spiritually. So I read books all the time. Like, I barely even watch TV. I'm reading books, and I'm reading books about leadership. I'm reading books about how to manage, how to grow. I'm reading books on how to scale. I'm reading books in the industry of where I'm at, not just so I can become the expert, but so I can have better habits. Because if you don't have better habits, then you'll start to resent what you're doing, and it won't end well. So I think I don't know if I said 4 things, but
no, that was perfect.
That I would say.
No, that was perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. And everything you said was like legit true. That self care is really, really important. And taking care of yourself. Like I remember, I would say last year or the year before last, like grind till you stop, team no sleep. That's what the hashtag was. Team no sleep. I remember it was like blowing up everywhere. And I was like, this is not right. This is not right. Not even the sleep part. Because when you get to that, it's basically saying put everything in front of your health. You know what I'm saying? Which is not true. Entrepreneurship is all about balance. Whether you have a nonprofit or a for-profit, all that good stuff, everything is about balance. So thank you so much for sharing that information about balance. So as we wrap up, Jania, I just want you to tell people a little bit more about how you can help them, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
Yes. So, right now, I only offer two services. And what I just did recently was I launched an online course where I'm teaching you how to start a nonprofit from the bottom up into my 5 tips that I use and that I share with my clients. So you can go to our website, jsmconsultingnow.com, and you can click on courses and you'll get access to the nonprofit guide, which actually goes through my personal experience, top 5 tips. It has quizzes. It has a bonus course on how to get your charitable solicitation license, as well as how to file your EIN and your articles of incorporation for your nonprofit. So that's an online course there. And I did that simply because so many people ask me, and I'm only one person. And, you know, Auntie Maxine Waters told me to reclaim my time. So that's what I'm doing.
Come on.
My time. So I put all of my energy into that. So you can order that on the website. Also, I do offer one-on-one coaching for people that want to start a grassroots organization. There is a limit to how many people I coach per year. We are almost at that limit. So yeah, that's that. And then I also have workbooks that are on the website that can help you to start and build your information. And I still do event planning for community-based issues. So you'll still see me around doing MFAB. I love that. There's some other things that are coming down the pipeline. You know, I'm just leveling up, but still reclaiming my time. So
Game time.
So you can reach out to me on my website. You can email me. And if I can't help you, I will definitely send you to someone who can. And thank you for having me. This was fun.
This was fun. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Talk It Out. We will be back in 2 weeks, y'all. In 2 weeks, the Wednesday after next at 6 p.m. I want to let you know what the topic going to be because it's going to be mini lit. So the topic next week is how to deal with competition and how to deal with copycats.
Oh, who doing
Always
that?
a lot of copycat, huh?
Who gonna be on that call?
My homie Ebony Frazier.
Oh, I should have known. I'm
Yeah,
like,
she
wait a
is
minute,
gonna
this
be
sound like an
on.
situation.
Huh?
I
We
said
gonna
it
be on
sounds weird.
live, and Ebony Frazier, me and myself, and Ebony Frazier, and the Bossy brand, y'all. We're gonna be talking about how to deal with competition and how to deal with copycats, people who are trying to copy your business and steal your business. So make sure you stay tuned.
Wait.
Did I
Never
say
mind.
it too far? Did I take it too far?
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, can they really steal it? Aren't you the sauce? Aren't you the magic? Like, can people really?
I don't know. That's what the Huddle House thought until Waffle House took over worldwide. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
You
Everybody
know
don't know
what?
about the Huddle House, but everybody know about the Waffle House.
But do you know two things about that? One thing I would encourage people to listen to that I love listening to if you're a podcaster is called Business Wars. So they compare two businesses and talk about like their competitiveness. So you might have an Amazon versus Walmart or Sam's Club or something like that, and it talks about the core of it. And then outside of Business Wars, I would also suggest that you watch. I think it's on Netflix, but it's the movie about McDonald's. Do you know about the story of McDonald's, how that was really stolen from them?
No, I didn't. But girl, I've been scarred from test up little movies like that ever since I watched the Walmart one. Girl, that kind of messed me up a little bit. I ain't shop at Walmart for like 3 months. It was real, real hard. But I was determined. Cause these background on some of these big industry businesses that we've been supporting on
Yeah.
how they got the way they got, they did a lot of slimy,
Grimy.
grimy,
Yeah.
underhanded, unethical things that I just can't agree with as an entrepreneur. So no, I have not watched it.
So
But
the
no.
McDonald's one is definitely that. So it was two brothers that started McDonald's and came up with the fast food concept. And then it was another guy that came in and he was like, y'all need to franchise it. And the brothers didn't want to. And then he ended up kind of like befriending them and they started to franchise it. But how he was able to take over McDonald's is because he owned the property. So that's how that's how they end up going under because he was, it was a smart move, but he was like, y'all don't own the property. So if I own the property, I can own the business.
I can do whatever I want. Hey,
Yeah.
owning the land. That's from
Yeah.
the beginning. It started with the property, baby.
But it's a good
But
movie. Michael Keaton is in it. It's a real good movie. I was like, dang, who knew McDonald's? And then the brothers died. They ain't got no ownership. They ain't had no legacy. They had no
they ain't
money.
got nothing. It's McDonald's, the number two. McDonald's is the number two food franchise behind Subway, and they ain't making nothing. They don't know nothing.
Nothing.
Well, as we come to an end, Jania, thank you so much for an amazing hour of your time. Guys, once again, if you did miss today's Talk It Out or you caught us at the end, please do not hesitate to sign up for our online list at www.betheentrepreneur.com. We are here to strategize, implement, and empower. Be the Entrepreneur focuses on new and inspiring entrepreneurs. We can help you get from your business vision to a real business in only 6 sessions. Guaranteed. If you do your part, I'm definitely going to do my part. You can have your business fully running in 6 sessions. So please do not hesitate to contact me. I have put my information at the bottom of the video. Also, do not forget to like my page, Be the Entrepreneur. Follow me on Instagram, Be the Entrepreneur, and subscribe to our new Talk It Out channel. It has every Talk It Out video that we've ever done. And like I said, we can email this directly to you. All you have to do is subscribe on my website, Be the Entrepreneur. And of course, I'm all about free stuff. I'm trying to get my way up to Oprah status. I ain't got there yet, though, but baby steps. But when you do subscribe, you do obtain a portion of my first ebook, one of my workbooks, Start With Yourself. You get the self entrepreneur evaluation, which basically is a quick questionnaire that asks you key questions to determine if you are ready for entrepreneurship right now in your life. So you get that for free when you subscribe. So we like goodies. We ain't on Oprah status, but we on B status, and I got you. So with that, thank you for joining us for today's episode of Talk It Out. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And you guys have a safe, amazing evening. Night.